These countries now charge Americans more to visit. Here's why. American passport holders have long enjoyed the freedom of traveling the world with minimal barriers. For decades, the US passport has opened doors across nearly every continent, granting visa-free access or simplified entry procedures. But that era is beginning to change. Today, a growing number of countries are charging Americans additional fees to visit. Whether through visas, entry taxes, or mandatory travel authorizations, the cost of international travel for US citizens is increasing. But why is this happening? What's driving this global shift? And what does it mean for American travelers going forward? To understand these changes, we must first explore a key concept: reciprocity. This principle means that countries treat visiting nationals similarly to how their own citizens are treated abroad. If a country's citizens are required to obtain a visa and pay fees to enter the United States, they may impose the same requirements on US citizens in return. A clear example of reciprocity in action is Brazil. For several years, Brazil allowed Americans to enter without a visa. However, in 2024, the Brazilian government reinstated its visa requirement for US tourists, along with citizens of Australia and Canada. Why? Because Brazilians still face high visa fees and complex application procedures when visiting the United States. The fees now imposed on American travelers reflect how Brazil's citizens are treated under US immigration policies. This approach isn't limited to South America. Turkey has also implemented a digital visa system for American visitors. While the process is relatively quick, it comes with a fee of approximately $50. The policy mirrors the experience Turkish citizens face when applying for a US visa. Looking to Europe, starting in 2025, American travelers will be required to register under ETIAS, the European Travel Information and Authorization System. While not a traditional visa, ETIAS requires an online application, a background check, and a small fee of around €7. Though the fee may seem minor, the symbolic shift is significant. For the first time in decades, Americans will need advance approval to enter the Schengen area. Countries such as France, Germany, Italy, and Spain are implementing ETIAS to enhance border security and better manage tourist flows. But it also sends a message: if European citizens must undergo screening to enter the US, Americans will be expected to do the same. In Latin America, some countries are imposing higher fees, not only out of reciprocity, but also as a tool for economic recovery and tourism management. Argentina, for example, has imposed and suspended reciprocity fees over time. These fees vary based on the traveler's entry point and reflect changes in diplomatic and economic conditions. The message is consistent. If Argentinians must pay to enter the US, so should Americans. Chile previously charged US citizens a reciprocity fee of $160. While this was eliminated in 2014 to promote tourism, it could be reinstated if immigration policies between the countries shift again. Meanwhile, several countries in Central America and the Caribbean have introduced tourism-related taxes that, while not explicitly aimed at Americans, disproportionately affect them due to the high volume of US visitors. These may include exit taxes, hotel surcharges, or environmental conservation fees. Costa Rica, for instance, uses such taxes to fund sustainable tourism development. In Asia, the approach varies. India offers e-visas to American travelers, typically costing between $25 and $80, depending on duration and timing. While relatively simple, the process requires detailed documentation and pre-approval. Bhutan takes a different route. It charges a sustainable development fee of $100 per night to all foreign tourists, including Americans. The fee supports Bhutan's strategy of high-value, low-impact tourism, protecting its environment and culture. In the Middle East, Saudi Arabia has recently opened its doors to foreign tourists through an e-visa system. For Americans, the visa costs around $117 and includes mandatory travel health insurance. This policy is part of Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 plan to diversify its economy and develop its tourism sector. Beyond the fees themselves, the process of international travel is becoming more regulated. Digital systems such as e-visas and electronic travel authorizations are replacing traditional stamps and paperwork. These platforms aim to streamline border control and enhance security by screening travelers in advance. However, they also add costs and complexity to what was once a straightforward process. So, why now? What's driving this global change? One key factor is economic necessity. Many countries suffered deep financial losses during the COVID-19 pandemic. With tourism being a vital source of revenue, governments are looking to offset those losses by implementing entry fees, especially for high-income travelers like Americans. Another factor is diplomatic fairness. Many nations believe their citizens face burdensome requirements when visiting the US. As a result, they are demanding equal treatment through reciprocal policies. Lastly, it's about control. As global mobility increases, countries are seeking greater oversight of who enters their borders, for how long, and why. Enhanced digital systems and data collection provide that oversight. For American travelers, this means it's time to adjust. The days of spontaneous international travel with minimal red tape are coming to an end. Visiting multiple countries in a single trip may now involve several digital authorizations, fees, and pre-approvals. What can you do to prepare? First, research your destination thoroughly before booking. Entry requirements can change quickly and may include unexpected fees or authorizations. Second, budget for travel-related entry costs. These can add up quickly, especially if you're visiting multiple countries with separate fee structures. Third, understand that this shift is not personal. These policies are not meant to penalize American travelers. They are strategic decisions driven by diplomatic, economic, and security considerations. Despite these new hurdles, American travelers still hold one of the most powerful passports in the world. But the era of automatic access is evolving into one of conditional, monitored, and increasingly regulated mobility. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe to News Nexus. We break down global issues with clarity and insight. Let us know in the comments if you've experienced new visa fees or entry requirements and how it affected your travel plans. Thanks for watching. And as always, stay informed.